Hi guys, Jamie Egan here today to talk about UFC 17 and its main event, Anderson Silva versus the cocky Chael Sonnen. There are five main points that I'd like to discuss. The first being Sonnen's ability to take Silva down. The second being Silva's use of jiu-jitsu to actually finish the fight. Third being where this fight now puts Silva in Silva pound and pound wise. And fourthly, where both fighters go from here, e.g. possible opponents. And fifthly, the possibility of a rematch, be it immediate or in the future. Alright, let's get started now. First, we must commend Chael Sonnen for actually being able to take Anderson Silva down. I think one of the main factors in Anderson Silva Chael Sonnen actually being able to take Anderson Silva down was the fact that he actually managed to rock him several times with a big left hook, which, after seeing someone like Forrest Griffin, is very, very surprising. And let's talk about another thing is that his takedowns actually very well timed. His takedowns, he shot for his takedowns. The second, Anderson Silva was about to go for a punch or a kick, etc., etc. So very well timed takedowns. Plus his actual ability to rock Anderson Silva really gave him a great advantage in terms of actually getting him down. Once on the ground as well, Chael Sonnen was very vicious in the ground and pound. He landed elbows, he landed bombs. He even slapped him, which I actually find quite entertaining in the fact that, surprisingly, after the Damian Maia match, it wasn't Silva who was towing around in the ring, it was actually Chael Sonnen this time, which you must give him a lot of credit for, some sort of humour, I suppose, to the match. However, one point you must question about Sonnen was Sonnen spent the better half of 4.5 rounds on top of Anderson Silva, just hitting with bombs. He threw over 300, landed over 300 strikes, and he still couldn't finish this guy. You might say it's Silva's chin, or is it Sonnen's lack of power? Again, against Nate Marquardt, in which Sonnen controlled a lot of the fight and had same positions, dropped bombs, etc., etc., still couldn't finish it. So that's one point you have to question about Sonnen. Does he even really actually put people away? He hasn't finished anyone in the UFC, so it's kind of an iffy area. Okay, second point. The second point being jiu-jitsu. The main topic, of course, being the arm triangle, which actually won the match. Throughout the entire match, Silva really was trying to set Sonnen up for this. At once, I presume Silva must have acknowledged the fact that he actually wasn't going to be able to stop these takedowns, and standing up wasn't really going to work, except in the last round, where he did slip. So Silva was actually looking at the time, I think, a triangle choke throughout the entire match. The actual triangle choke, or arm triangle, which Silva did get, was timed very well. Really, really well. And when he got it once he got it in, Sonnen actually was very clever. He did exactly what you were supposed to do. He got up and kind of put his legs around, but what he should have got now was his legs around properly and kind of hooked them. Instead, he didn't, and he kind of left an arm in, which is very susceptible to an arm bar. So he was in a triangle choke and an arm bar, and it's just really, there's no way he's going to get 2 submissions. Just a matter of time until he tapped. And of course, there's obviously the dispute around him saying he didn't tap or whatever. But actually, very famously, another teammate of his, Matt Lindman, did something very similar, however, in the past. So, just as a little point for the one big thing I think is very obvious, that if Anderson Silva really has a great knowledge of jiu-jitsu, because if Sonnen had trained with anyone really high level jiu-jitsu, he probably would have known exactly how to reverse that properly. However, he probably didn't train with the really, really high caliber Abu Dhabi kind of jiu-jitsu specialist, so he really hadn't got a clue what to do in that kind of situation. So we're running Chael Sonnen in a rematch, possible rematch, change that, but Chael Sonnen has been caught multiple times in submissions, so you can't just say it's Anderson Silva's brilliance, as it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brilliance, but as well as Chael Sonnen's kind of ignorance, what's helped Jiu-Jitsu once again getting the best of wrestling. My third point, where this puts Silva pound for pound wise, Silva is currently 12-0 in the UFC and is the current middleweight champion. This fight showed lots of things that a lot of people didn't know about Silva before this fight, e.g. he's got huge heart and a fantastic chin. I mean, he took some huge bombs in that fight and was able to keep on going and eventually get the victory. However, pound for pound wise, what does this mean? Division wise, Anderson Silva, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best fighter in his division. and is definitely top 3 pound for pound wise. Probably has to be top 2 really. Um, However, you could say, oh, Chael Sonnen's a great wrestler, and Silva can beat wrestlers. He's beaten Dan Henderson, he's beaten Chael Sonnen. However, Sonnen has lost 11 fights Sonnen has lost in his career, 8 of which have been due to submission, either a choke or an armbar. So Sonnen just stayed in Anderson Silva's guard throughout that whole match. So Sonnen's very, very susceptible to submissions, while someone like George St. Pierre, who's the biggest rival for Anderson Silva in terms of pound for pound ranking, is not. George St. Pierre would just completely dominate opponents and wouldn't work out of the guard like Sonnen did. He would actually get mounted and he would just dominate. So George St. Pierre, in my opinion, would, from evidence in that fight, would actually easily be able to take down someone like Anderson Silva, because George St. Pierre is a much better athlete and is a much better athlete than Chael Sonnen, and his takedowns are explosive and so well timed. And as well, he wouldn't stay in the guard. He would get mounted and he's just so dominant when he gets in that position that I don't think Anderson Silva could defeat him. Could beat him in a fight. So therefore, I think pound for pound wise, this fight has actually just wiped Anderson Silva out pound for pound as a pound for pound best, and has put St. Pierre straight there. The fourth topic I'd like to talk about is possible where both fighters go from now. Firstly, Anderson Silva. The most obvious opponent for Anderson Silva next would be Vitor Belfort, which would be a really great match, because if you know Vitor Belfort and you've seen what he did to people like Matt Lindman, and you've seen what he did to people like Wanderlei Silva, the way he just destroyed them standing up is incredible. And if he could do something like that against Silva, his boxing is just so devastating that you would have to question even a striker like Silva would have been big trouble against someone like Vitor Belfort. As well, he's got lots of experience. He's been in the UFC before. He's fought people like Couture. He's fought Alistair Overeem. He's obviously fought Wanderlei Silva. So that would be a really great match in my opinion. And there's obviously other options for Anderson Silva, e.g. moving down to fight, e.g. moving down or up a division. However, I think straight away Vitor Belfort is the most obvious opponent. Now on to Sonnen. In Sonnen's last, let's say, 4 fights in the UFC, he's won 3, lost 1. That one, again, submission against Damian Maia. Damian Maia just came off a loss to Anderson Silva as well, so they actually look like a very nice pair to put together. Chael Sonnen's going to want revenge. They're both on losses to the same champion. They're both going to get in as quickly as possible to another title shot. And with the idea that if Sonnen can beat Damian Maia, that would be almost an excuse straight away to get him into an immediate rematch, which would be very good. Let us just fight with Anderson Silva. What you want to talk about Anderson Silva GSP? Could Anderson Silva get out the next? He could change division, I presume, but more likely he got a light heavyweight. Anderson Silva walks around at about 230 pounds. How in God's name is he going to lose 60 pounds? Okay, I'll be 20, maybe 30 pounds of that max being water weight and etc. He may be about 210 coming into a fight. How is he got still? That's a sick amount of weight to lose, and I don't think that's going to happen. So more likely, I think Anderson Silva won't fight GSP and might go up to the light heavyweight division to maybe, I could most likely, I'd say, fight the loser of Rampage Machida, then fight the loser of Evans versus Shogun, and then of course get a chance at the champion. That being, in my personal opinion, would either be Shogun or John Jones at the time. Alright, my last point to talk about is possibility of a rematch. The biggest point of this is that Dana White's Twitter was flooded with requests for an immediate rematch. Absolutely flooded with it. Even Dana said that himself. So here's the pros of this. The pros of this match. Firstly, it would be a really great fight last night. So another great fight would be in store too. Also, Chael Sonnen has great promotional qualities, and would really hype this fight very well, like he did to this one, and could possibly be even bigger, and really would see a lot of pay-per-view buys. However, a con to this match would be that Anderson Silva, it could be the exact same kind of fight, and why would you give someone who lost decisively in the way that he was beaten very well, and that decisively in the way that he was actually beaten very well in terms of submission, was excellent, and he tapped out, etc. He was dominating. but he was still beaten decisively with a submission. So therefore, I don't think he merits an immediate rematch. Also, Sonnen has lost 8 times now to submissions. So I don't think Sonnen's going to learn from his mistakes. He might, but the exact same thing I think is probably going to happen in the rematch. So that would, unless it's explained to Sonnen, would make it very boring, and I don't think the fans are going to like the match that much. The second time around, expect to see the exact same thing. Most likely, Silva getting a submission. As well, also Vitor Belfort offers a huge promotional, and they can like they have all those hype videos in Vitor Belfort in the UFC hype videos in Vitor Belfort from the past, especially that Wanderlei Silva one and things like that. So no, I think that they should most likely him versus Silva straight away, and in the future then there's a possibility, there's a rematch possibility. I think that's a very good in the future. However, I think Sonnen has to get past Maya, and someone like maybe if Belfort does lose, he might have to fight against if Belfort loses, he might have to fight against Belfort again, and then probably give him a title shot. But after one match or whatever, or just immediate one, I don't think he really merits, because his record isn't in the UFC. Okay, he's done a 3-fight win streak for tonight, but his overall record in the UFC really isn't good enough. I don't think, unlike someone like Fedor, who in my opinion does deserve an immediate rematch with someone like Fabricio Werdum. But that's just because look at the immense difference in Fedor's resume to Chael Sonnen's. So I don't think he deserves an immediate rematch. Alright guys, that's my opinion on the UFC 17's main event, Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. I'd like you to rate and subscribe and post your opinions on my review, and your opinions on the actual fight itself.